Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian. I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. I hope everybody has had a great week. I hope you're looking forward to a fantastic weekend. In this class, students, we are looking at an IELTS Task 2 writing question. This is for the academic IELTS. It could also be for the general IELTS as well. Task 2 writing is very similar for both the academic and general versions of the exam. Today's question will be focusing on the topic of financial education. Now, this is a members chat class, so to join this chat, you do have to be a channel member. To do that, just click the join button next to the subscribe button. In 2 hours, we will have a reading class that will be available for subscribers to chat as well as members. So you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's free. You'll get notifications of these live classes. This material is presented to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS. Visit us there for the general IELTS. Check us out at gieltshelp.com. These are the websites that power these live classes. They have all of our practice exams, videos, interactive courses, and much more, as many of you know. This is our general IELTS website here at gieltshelp.com. You can click this big red button to join there. And for the academic version, you can join with the blue background here, again by clicking the big red button that's just above my head. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. We do not believe in subscription models. We think you should just have the materials as long as you need to pass the IELTS exam. We're an IDP affiliate. We are a British Council partner and IELTS test registration center. I'm a certified British Council agent, and we are world leaders when it comes to IELTS exams. Click that button and enter the code P29 for a 10% extra little discount for being in this live class here with me today. All right, students, getting back to our lesson here. We've got lots and lots of help for writing task 2. Writing task 2 follows a very standard structure. It is a persuasive essay, meaning the goal is to convince your reader of your ideas. There are lots of task 2 essay samples on our websites. This one here is a task 2 blog essay sample that focuses on job training. So again, check that out. Hi Anna, I'm glad you're interested in the topic. Welcome members joining in right now. Students, if you have questions, send me an email. My email is adrian@aehelp.com or admin@aehelp.com. Questions about IELTS, English, university application, our materials or products, just reach out to us. We're happy to reply, usually within 24 hours or less. Okay, this is what we're looking like for the rest of this week. So right now we've got this task 2 for members coming up a little bit shortly after, in just under 2 hours. We've got reading. We will go through a reading passage with the answers. These times are UTC, Universal Standard Time, Greenwich Time. Tomorrow we've got speaking part 2 for members here on YouTube, and then on the website we'll have speaking part 3 for everyone. If you're planning to sit the IELTS exam, I definitely recommend checking out our latest video that gives you tips and strategies for the different types of questions in speaking part 2. So check that out. Okay, everyone, here we go. Let's dig in. So we've got this IELTS Task 2 writing question. Let's read the question first. When you get to part or task 2 of the writing, make sure to read the question really carefully. If you write off topic, even with great grammar and vocabulary, if you are not writing on the right ideas, you will lose a lot of marks. So don't do that. The number one reason being is that if you write off topic, like you write about, I don't know, university education, and you don't really focus on financial education, then the examiners don't know if you maybe memorized an essay about education for the IELTS, and any question that comes up that's connected to education, you were going to use that essay. So they'll give you a low mark. They think it's maybe a template. So you have to have a specific answer that's accurate to the question. Very, very important. Essays must answer the right question. Hi, Chen. Welcome, our chat moderator. Great to have you here with me. So we read the question carefully. Financial education should be included as a mandatory subject in schools to prepare students for managing money effectively. To what extent do you agree or disagree? By the way, everybody, this was a question on the December 4th IELTS exam in many parts of the world. So just so you are aware, this question appeared on IELTS December 4th. Okay. So this is not a made-up question. This is the actual question that a lot of students had to deal with a few weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, when they sat their IELTS exams. And so if you did your IELTS exam and you're not sure why you got a low score or didn't do as well as you had hoped, and you had this question, now you will see a high band response and what they're looking for to give high bands, okay? And then you'll be able to kind of figure out, did I do that? Did I miss some of these ideas? What happened? So here, let's read the question one more time. It's absolutely a good idea to read the question twice, especially when you have kind of a short question like this, just to make sure that you're really picking up all of the right ideas and the details. Financial education should be included as a mandatory subject in schools to prepare students for managing money effectively. To what extent do you agree or disagree? All right, now, ideally at home when you're practicing on the IELTS in the actual exam, your very, very first step is just to paraphrase that question. It's not the start of your essay. It's not your introductory paragraph necessarily. It's just simply a step to make sure that you clearly understand the question. It also helps you to think about the question, and it also helps you to gather some good vocabulary to use in your essay. So step one is to just paraphrase the question. A lot of IELTS instructors will say, oh, use this for the introduction. It could be useful, but not necessarily. You definitely want to do a little bit more than just paraphrase the question for getting a band 7, 8, or a band 9. But nonetheless, the paraphrase is useful. It's extremely useful. So paraphrase the question to A, check your understanding. B, think about the content. And C, to gather useful vocabulary. So for all of these reasons, it's a good idea to paraphrase the question. So let's do that now. Go ahead, Anna, Chen, paraphrase the question. I have a feeling we've got a little bit fewer members in the class today as we're getting closer to New Year's, and I think a lot of people are traveling and preparing to welcome in 2024, which is definitely exciting, everyone. So, and kudos to all of you who are pushing forward like me and studying and getting ready for success in 2024. That's fantastic. All right. Hi, Anahita. Okay, so teaching about money management. Okay, so financial education, I'm just going to say teaching about money management, right? Now, sometimes, you know, we just get really stuck on thinking about like financial education, one word, how do I say that? It's often a good idea to look at a phrase like financial education as a phrase, and then think about that in other ways, like, oh, that's teaching about money. And then if you can, one step further, teaching about money management. Should be included as a mandatory subject. Okay, so that means mandatory subject means you have to take this course in school. So teaching about money management ought to be a standard part of the education system. Okay, so that's how I would paraphrase it so far, all the way until here to schools. And then prepare students for managing money effectively. So I'm kind of just playing with the words. Notice how it says managing money effectively, and I talked about money management. Okay, so using some grammatical paraphrasing as well. Anahita, Anna, just jump in there whenever you can. Okay, again, everybody, this was an IELTS question, Task 2 question, December 4th, so we're not, you know, off base here or just theoretically talking about some Task 2. This was the Task 2 that many students around the world, or many IELTS candidates, had to answer. Hi, Constellation. Good to have you on board. Okay. So teaching about money management ought to be a standard part of the education system in order to get graduates ready for having good managing money effectively to get graduates ready to make good financial decisions in life. Okay, that's what I'm going to say. Again, there are so many ways to paraphrase. Whatever comes to mind, the more ways you think about it, the better. To what extent do you agree or disagree? To what level do you support this idea? Sure, just to kind of get an idea of the question itself, of what I'm actually being asked. Okay, now when you paraphrase, always read the original, read your paraphrase, just check to make sure that it does have the same information. Remember, students, that good paraphrasing should include all of the information from the original idea, not include any new or different information, and not omit any important information. So keep that in mind. So good paraphrasing means that you reflect all of the important information from the original and do not include any new information that is not in the original. Okay. All right. So here's the original question. This is the question word for word as it came up December 4th. Financial education should be included as a mandatory subject in schools to prepare students for managing money effectively. To what extent do you agree or disagree? Okay. Teaching about money management ought to be a standard part of the education system in order to get graduates ready for making good financial decisions in life. To what level do you support this idea? Okay, that looks good. Okay, Anahita says a compulsory subject. That's really good. That's very good paraphrasing, Anahita. Let's take a look at Anna's paraphrasing here. Anna writes, financial tuition ought to be added as a mandatory subject in schools for all levels to teach students how to use money effectively. Yeah, instead of effectively, Anna, we could say wisely, to paraphrase that. Okay. Yeah, and then don't forget the rest of it. To what degree do you support this position? Okay, we have Anahita's paraphrasing here. Anahita writes, financial education should be taught as a compulsory subject. Compulsory is an adjective, so it can't be on its own unless you write financial education should be compulsory in schools, but should be taught as a compulsory subject is better, Anita. In schools to make students to ready students. You can use ready as the verb here. To ready students for money management profoundly. Profoundly is a little bit awkward there. So I would say for good money management. To what major do you concur or condemn this statement? To what, not major here, I think that's a little bit awkward. To what extent? If you don't use to what degree or to what extent do you concur or condemn this statement? Sure, that's better. All right, Chen, nice. Our moderator has a sample for us as well. Good. Working hard, everybody. I like to see that. Okay, Chen writes, to equip scholars with the skills necessary for responsible money management, financial education ought to be made a required course in educational institutions. How much do you agree or disagree? Chen, that is fantastic paraphrasing. I love how you've been keeping up with your English and really just doing a fantastic job. That's really nice use of not only synonyms but also grammatical paraphrasing, and it's very accurate. I really like it. Okay, it shows me that you really grasp this question, and that's ideally the level of paraphrasing that you're getting to with lots of good study. So nice work, Chen. Thumbs up. Well done. Okay, now that we have this paraphrase and we're starting to get some good ideas, before we put pen to paper and start writing the essay, students, it is extremely important that you identify the topic and the controlling idea of the question clearly. This is a step that should never be forgotten, that should never be left out, not just in the IELTS, but any time that you are writing a response to a question in any high school, college, or university class. Okay, so step 2 is always clearly identify the question topic and controlling idea or ideas before you put pen to paper. Okay, that's an expression, means before you start writing. Okay, super duper important. All right, so here the topic in this case is what? And hopefully all of you come up with the same idea. It's mandatory financial education. Right? Anna, it's not just education. Yep, exactly. Anahita has the right idea. The topic here is mandatory financial education. It's not just education. We're not just talking about education. So, Anna, it's very important that you think about the specific topic. If you think about only education, it's far too broad. Okay? So, mandatory financial education. And then the controlling idea, or controlling ideas in this case, is the need or no need for mandatory financial education in schools. Okay, so that's the controlling idea. Is it needed? Should it be mandatory, or should it not be mandatory? Okay, so those are the controlling ideas. Now, we might have a little bit of variance in the topic and controlling idea. So somebody might say, hey, I think the topic is financial education and the controlling idea is whether or not to make it mandatory. It's kind of the same idea as long as you have at least financial education as the topic. Okay. Once you have that, you can now clearly plan your essay. Okay. So, what you want to do is think critically. So next, in step 3, think critically. So a lot of people say, I can't get good ideas for my essays in IELTS or in school. Well, it's because I think a lot of people just try to get a quick general answer or idea in their head right away. And it's kind of like order of operations. When you have a complicated question, you need to go step by step. You need to have structure, right? So if you have a math question like square root of 3 plus 4 times let's say 7, right? So if you have this, then you know, it's probably not a good idea to try to just think about this whole question all at once and go, I think it's like 6 or something, right? So what you do is you go step by step, right? First you add the brackets. So you go, okay, 3 plus 4 is 7. Multiply that by 7 equals 49. The square root of 49 is back to 7, right? So you go through an order of operations. Essay questions are complicated. They require the same strategy. They require a kind of order of operations. And I think where a lot of people make mistakes is they try to just give that answer without looking at each of the pieces of the question or the concept. So that's really what you have to do, right? So step 3 is you apply critical thinking to the topic and the controlling idea. Okay. All right, just making a quick camera adjustment there. So what I mean by that is that you have to think about the what, why, and the how. Okay. So what is mandatory financial education? Why would we have that? How would that be implemented? Okay. So step 3 is apply good critical thinking to the topic and controlling idea or ideas. So it means asking what, why, how. Right? So, for example, what is mandatory financial education? Okay, what's your answer to that? So in your opinion, what is mandatory financial education? Give me your thoughts around that. So it is a minimum of 2 hours of teaching, focusing on finance and economics each week, starting from grade 5 and going to grade 12. Okay, now some people, I know what you're thinking because I get this question from students. They're like, but I don't have enough time. We only have 40 minutes and I'm going to run out of time to write my essay. Well, let me calm your nerves. This answer that I'm writing here, as long as it's a good answer, actually becomes a part of my essay. Okay, so don't worry about time. Because these answers become parts of your essay, and by answering these important questions, you get much better ideas, so your essay is going to flow and you're actually going to write faster. Okay, so also you get a lot of great ideas and you will write faster. And your structure will be great. Okay, all right. So what is mandatory financial education? It is a minimum of 2 hours of teaching focusing on finance and economics each week, starting from grade 5 and going to grade 12. Let's use words for numbers 1 to 10. I'm using it for 1 to 12, but you can use numbers after 10. The rule in writing is you should use, especially in essays that are not expository essays, so persuasive essays like this one, you should be using words for numbers 0 to 10. Okay. All right. So mandatory financial education means it is a minimum of 2 hours of teaching focusing on finance and economics each week, starting from grade 5 and going to grade 12. That's what I would consider mandatory financial education. Right, we have about, let's say, 30 hours of school each week, roughly 25 hours of teaching time, or 20 hours of teaching time, 2 hours of that, so let's say like 10 to 15% of that should be focused on financial education. Okay, Anna has this answer for us. Anna says, mandatory financial education is when the government tells all people learn how to manage money from school to university. Yeah, and I think in university we specialize. So Anna, in my mind, mandatory education is always grades 1 to 12 or kindergarten to 12, K through 12. So mandatory financial education is when the government implements. I would change this a little bit, but again, if you can explain that clearly, implements learning about money management in the public school system. So I would correct this a little bit to express that point, right? Hi Juan, it's okay, better late than never, as the saying goes. Okay, now of course the next question is why, right? So instead of the what is why is mandatory financial education necessary? Okay, so why is it important? Why should that be in schools? Why did this question come up? IELTS likes to ask questions for task 2 that are relevant, that make sense. And there's a good reason, I'm sure, that they asked this in December. Here, let me put it to you in an interesting way. Why do you think IELTS came up with this question for the December 4th exam? So why do you think IELTS gave this question December 4th, 2023, just this month, 2023, to thousands of candidates, around the world? Okay, let's have a little bit of fun with this. What do you think, everyone? Okay, so why do you think Why did IELTS present this question? And again, for those of you just joining in, this is the task 2 question we're looking at right now. And again, it was on the official exams 3 weeks ago. So that financial education should be included as a mandatory subject in schools to prepare students for managing money effectively. To what extent do you agree or disagree? Why do you think this was a question? Okay, on IELTS. So Anna says because virtual assets are becoming more and more popular. I'm not sure, Anna, if that would be my first answer, but maybe because virtual assets are becoming more popular. Yeah, maybe. Okay, so Anahita says many college students are facing financial constraints. Okay, I do also think that there's a more global issue going on right now in finance. I'm not sure if everybody's feeling it as much in certain parts of the world, but I know that here in Canada we're seeing this. And actually, you know what? It's an interesting question. So, Anahita, I know you're in Canada as well, so I know you will know exactly what I'm talking about. But does everybody see that food prices are going up rapidly, much faster than they were in previous years, for example? So the cost of food, of groceries, is rapidly increasing. The cost of rent is increasing. So the value of money is rapidly decreasing. Yeah. So what we're experiencing right now is rapid inflation. And what does that mean? What is that signaling? Rapid inflation currently is signaling, and this is what? So I think we're past simply just inflation now. We are in a state of global recession. So rapid inflation currently is signaling that we are, in fact, in a state of global recession and nearing potential depression. Okay. Many people have a lot of debt, consumer debt, and real estate debt. And insolvency is becoming rampant around the world. Rampant around the world. Okay. So I would say this is probably one of the reasons. People are overspending and banks are overlending. Okay. So I would say that as well. Maybe some of you will disagree with me and you'll say, I don't think the problem is that bad, but I'm not sure if I would agree with that. I have heard from many people that finances are getting out of control. So anyway, going back to this question, and here I'm showing you, like, think about context, right? So there's a reason why IELTS is asking this question. Why is mandatory financial education necessary in order for people to, what do you think? Give me an answer. I'll give you my answer. This is where it really does become opinion, right? So these are persuasive essays where you argue your own opinion. But in order for people to have stable financial situations so that they can have a good quality of life without the threat of insolvency and paying debt. Okay, so that's why I would say that it's necessary, so that people have stable financial situations, so that they're not worried about not being able to pay for their sustenance needs because of high debt. Okay, now the question, of course, is how. So how does this work? Students understand the concepts of finance, of lending, borrowing, and investing through structured lessons, and pay more attention to the way they manage their earnings, savings, and debts. Okay, so let's say that. So that's how it works. Okay, now here's the question, and I think it's a relatively easy question to answer. So should it be mandatory? What do you think? Okay, give me your answer to this one. So this is the controlling idea here. Okay. Controlling idea. Should financial management be mandatory in schools? Okay, so how much, to what degree do you support this idea? Okay, well, I will tell you, I definitely support this idea. So I think it absolutely should be, without question. As long as society uses money and people use money in society, people should learn about this. I've always argued that two important subjects which should be mandatory in school systems, one is financial management and the other one is basic psychology. So understanding the mechanism or the function of the mind, but that's another subject and I'm not going to obviously talk about that. So yes, I strongly agree that financial management must be a part of the education system, of the public education system. Okay, now the question here is why, right? So these are going to be my thesis points. Okay, and here is it's a really interesting approach. Now in the IELTS, you want to keep it simple, right? So this is not a university essay, and I think you could easily write a 10, 20, 50 page paper on this question, no problem. But in the IELTS, you're really only writing about 300, 350 words. It says minimum 250. High band, like band 7, band 8, band 9, should be closer to that 300, 350. In simple terms, give me your thesis points. So you need 2 points. Why? Thesis points times 2, right? So we need 2 points here. And I have this in my head. I think there's for me, there's a very simple answer here. You can think about it this way too. If there's no teaching of finance or financial management, who suffers, right? Think about that. So think about the opposite, right? So who suffers or who benefits without and with financial management or knowledge of, right? So why? What do you think? Okay, quick thinking. If students learn to use their money well, make smart investments, who is going to benefit? Who is going to be like, hey, that was really good. I have a really good life. I don't owe money. I make money. My money makes money. Okay. So Anna says it will reduce debt issues. So when those debt issues are reduced, Anna, who is going to benefit? What do you think? And again, this is where a lot of people will go, oh man, why didn't I think about that in that IELTS exam on December 4th when I had this question? Okay, Anna says the family will benefit. Sure. Let's keep it simpler. So there are these grand truths. So these questions on the IELTS exam, they kind of tackle some of these grand truths. And you really don't have to overcomplicate, okay? Okay. If you have a society full of people who are financially smart, then you're going to see that the individual will benefit, so that person will benefit from having knowledge of financial management, and society as a whole will benefit, okay? Think about if people make bad decisions, borrow too much money, then it's not just those people that will suffer in the end, but even people making smart financial choices will suffer the consequences of the people making bad financial choices. That's what happened in the United States in 2008, right? Because society also has a collective debt. So, having bad knowledge of finance isn't just problematic for the individual potentially, but it's also problematic for society. Does everybody see that? Okay, and then not to mention the planet, right? It's basically, let's stop being greedy, right? But that's another kind of global way to approach this. We have to be clear and specific. So my thesis statement here would be, I strongly believe that financial management should be a compulsory, I'm going to use that synonym, Anahita, because that was really nice, compulsory subject in public schools to benefit and safeguard individuals and society's well-being. Okay, that's my thesis statement. I strongly believe that financial management should be a compulsory subject in schools to benefit and safeguard individuals and society's well-being. Does everybody see that thesis? Okay. So now I can write my introduction, right? Okay, and the introductory paragraph again has a hook, background, and the thesis. Okay, for those people who are not sure yet what is the hook, or for some of you who are, oh, I don't know, the hook is not important. My teacher said you don't need a hook for IELTS. All good essays have a hook. Why would you not want to have a hook? Why would you not want to write a good essay? The hook introduces the topic and makes the reader interested. I've talked to a lot of IELTS examiners and they all said, yeah, you don't need a hook, but I sure like to see them, especially when I'm giving a high band score. I'm like, so what you're telling me is that you don't need a hook in the IELTS, but that you do like to see them, especially when you're giving high band scores. Okay. So yeah, a hook is a good idea. Okay, so a hook is the first sentence of an essay that introduces the topic, with a captivating statement or an interesting statement, is short and accurate. Okay, don't make mistakes. All right? Okay, so what is our topic? Mandatory financial education. Mandatory financial education has been debated by many scholars in recent years. Sure, why not, right? Just first one that comes to mind. Now, in the IELTS, your hook does not need to be riveting. If it is, that's great. If it's like, ooh, wow, that's great. But don't spend minutes on trying to come up with like the ultimate hook where everybody's like glued to your essay going, ooh. In your university classes, yes, that's what you need. That's what you want. But in IELTS, you just the first kind of fact that comes to mind, be specific. Now, Anahita, Anna, Chen, Juan, Constellation, when you're writing your hook, just write the letter H like this so I know you're writing your hook. And then write your hook. Okay, Anahita has an example hook for us here. Anahita writes, many people stress the value of mandatory financial education. Yes, very good. I like the word stress there. At first I thought you were going to use it differently, like stress about money. But it's interesting. I like it. So many people stress the value of mandatory financial education. I like it. Anahita, again, is short, sweet, to the point, introduces the topic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 words, nice and short. I always say try to keep it under 12. Mine is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wait. 10, 11, 12. Mine is exactly 12, right? Okay. So after the hook comes the background. Now the background is a definition of the topic and the importance, right? So background defines the key terms of the essay, like mandatory financial education in this case. Okay, and gives the importance. Okay, so why is it important to talk about this? And when you're doing the background, you can just do BG like that, background. Now in the actual, for those of you who are a little bit confused on this, in the real IELTS exam, please do not write H or BG. Your examiners will not know what that means, so you're just writing the sentences. This is only for practice. So the background here, remember what I said earlier, that you can just use your planning. And remember here, we asked what is mandatory financial education right here when we were looking at the topic. So here it is a minimum of 2 hours of teaching. Okay, so here mandatory financial education. So learning about money. I'm going to make it a little bit clear here, of course. So learning about money could be a minimum of 2 hours of teaching, focusing on finance and economics each week, starting from grade 5 and going to grade 12. Better use of money has an impact on society or on societies globally. Okay, So what people don't realize, of course, is that if a country like the United States, for example, gets into economic strife, or Russia or UK or Germany, these big countries that have huge cash flows, then it doesn't just affect that one country, it affects the entire world, right? So and I know it's a much more complicated topic than just this, but this is the IELTS exam, so I'm kind of keeping it as simple as possible, okay? All right, and now comes the thesis, and for the thesis, I've already written that, so again, I'm just copy pasting, and by the way, in the computer-based IELTS exam, you can do just that, so you can just copy paste or cut paste. Okay, and then you have your high band introduction. The introduction is not just a simple paraphrase of the question saying this essay will discuss. That is a very junior level introduction. Okay, they will only give like a band 6 or a band 7 for that. So again, here's the question. So when you finish the introduction, look at the question and then look at your introduction. So those of you joining in, the task 2 question that we're answering is financial education should be included as a mandatory subject in schools to prepare students for managing money effectively. To what extent do you agree or disagree? This was a question for thousands of candidates on December 4th for the IELTS exam. Here is a sample Band 9 introduction. Mandatory financial education has been debated by many scholars in recent years. Learning about money could be a minimum of 2 hours of teaching, focusing on finance and economics each week, starting from grade 5 and going to grade 12. Better use of money has an impact on societies globally. Therefore, I'm going to join here. Therefore, I strongly believe that financial management should be a compulsory subject in schools to benefit and safeguard individuals and society's well-being. Boom. There is your Band 9. If you write an introduction like this, your examiner is definitely thinking a Band 8 or higher. Okay, as long as you have fairly good grammar and spelling and vocabulary, right? Okay, Anna, I see your thesis, which is good. All right, and Anahita, I see your thesis as well. So Anna writes, compulsory financial tuition has caught the attention of society in recent years. I absolutely agree with this statement because compulsory financial education for all children in schools teaches them how to be financially stable. Financial education teaches financial stability for the future and increases economic awareness. Okay, I'm not sure where you're going with that, but it's possible. Yeah, this could be a good thesis. I do see your 2 points, and as long as you can explain to me what you mean by increases economic awareness, then it's good. So these are your 2 points in your thesis, Anna, and it can work as long as you clearly explain that. Okay. All right. Anahita, I see that you have a thesis statement as well. Okay, Anahita says, I firmly agree that financial education should be a compulsory part of education, of public education systems. due to a couple of reasons. Systems, you don't need the couple of reasons, just state them to empower individuals with integral skills, with life skills, I would write instead of integral, life skills, and to, instead of flourish society's well-being, I would write ensure society's well-being. And I would do a plural possessive here, Anahita, ensure society's well-being. Okay, makes sense? All right. Having a good thesis, everybody, is essential to getting good scores. There is no way around that. If you're not sure what a thesis statement is, then do not write the IELTS exam until you learn it, because it is essential that you understand what a thesis statement is, how it works. It's critical for task 1, task 2 writing. It's critical for you to understand this for the reading section. We will have a reading class coming up in about an hour from now, and you will see that the thesis statement also appears in the reading passages. Many of our members or viewers do know what that is. For those of you who are unsure, please do go to our websites. This is our website here at aehelp.com. Sign up for the premium package, and then go to your My Student account, go to your interactive course, go to the writing section, and make sure to review the essay structure and focus on understanding the thesis statement, which comes up here. So definitely do that. Okay. Again, you can sign up for the premium package by going to aehelp.com and then just clicking on that red button that's kind of behind me there. Okay. Again, do not write the IELTS exam if you don't know what a thesis statement is. Okay. All right. Thanks, Chen, for putting that that URL in the chat. Okay, let's take a look at this. So Chen, this is your thesis here. Chen says, I strongly believe that incorporating financial management into the curriculum is essential to provide students with the necessary practical skills and to prepare them for common financial pitfalls. Okay, sure. Yeah, okay, I can see that, Chen. Instead of practical skills here, Chen, I would probably be a little bit clearer, okay? Having a clear thesis, students, is very important. Writing a thesis like this essay will discuss the negatives and the benefits is not a clear thesis statement. In fact, in college or university, your professor will just throw out the essay and fail you. That wasn't a joke. If you write something like this essay will discuss, they will take your paper and throw it out. In the first year, they might give you a little bit more help and say, go to the writing center and talk to people there about how to write a university level essay. Rewrite the essay. Do not submit an essay with this kind of a thesis, okay? So your thesis statements have to be very clear. Now, Chen, yours is better than that. You do have some clear points. Just make them even clearer with the necessary budgeting skills, maybe. So to provide students with the necessary budgeting skills and to prepare them for common financial pitfalls, then it's good. Yeah. I might go the other way, just thinking about my essay, Chen. I might go financial pitfalls first. So talk about the dangers of over borrowing or borrowing with high interest rates, money that can't be paid back, or not having a balanced portfolio, or not hedging investments, something like that. And then go into budgeting skills, so knowing how to balance between incomes and expenses and overspending. So I would probably go the other way myself, but it's, again, you could do it this way. It's up to how you write. Okay, right? Within all of this information, everybody, that I'm giving you, there is a lot of different ways that you can do it. So it's not like this is the only way. And in fact, if you're learning from IELTS courses that tell you this is the one way that you should do it, then they're definitely wrong. In the IELTS, they're looking for original essays for good scores. Okay. All right. Okay, so now that we have our introductory paragraph, we can write the body paragraph 1. Okay. So body paragraph 1, a good IELTS Task 2 essay has 4 paragraphs: introduction, body 1, body 2, conclusion, usually. Okay. Sometimes it will have 3 body paragraphs, but I only recommend that if you can write fast and well. It's better to write just 4, make sure that they're accurate and clear. So body paragraph 1 will have a topic sentence. It will have an explanation. It will have an example and maybe a connecting sentence. Okay. Oftentimes you hear teachers, programs say supporting point 1, supporting point 2. Yeah, sure. Supporting point 1 is the explanation. Supporting point 2 is the example. You can think about it that way. I think explanation, example are a little bit clearer. They're a little bit more specific. So think about it that way. The topic sentence is simply a deeper definition of your thesis point 1. So here, thesis point 1 for me says that compulsory financial education will benefit and safeguard individuals. Okay, so that's my thesis point 1. Now for my topic sentence of body paragraph 1, I'm going to give a deeper definition of that. Okay, now the question asks for my personal opinion. It says which side do I, so what do I believe, or to what degree do I believe this to be true? So I can definitely use the first person voice here as this is what I believe, right? So teaching about the effective use of money gives a better chance for graduates. Did I use the word graduates? I'm trying not to repeat words here. Gives a better chance for young adults to make money work for them instead of against them. Okay, so here, notice thesis point 1 that I say, okay, financial management should be compulsory to benefit and safeguard individuals. I'm talking about the one person. Right, so here, body paragraph 1, teaching about the effective use of money gives a better chance for young adults to make money work for them instead of against them. So this is my topic sentence, okay? I'm going to call that TS. And then comes my explanation, okay? I'm going to call that explanation. So this means that by learning the dangers of borrowing with high interests, and understanding the value of making sound investments, an 18-year-old fresh out of high school can use their earnings to make money rather than lose money. in the long run. Okay? So I'm giving an explanation there. Now again, Chen, Anna, Anahita, you've been doing a fantastic job so far writing sentences, sample sentences. Don't give up now. So keep going. And, if you're like, well, I'm just really going to focus on what Adrian's doing for now, that's okay too. Then do it later. Okay? Everybody watching, we love to see essays, and we give free writing band score estimates. If you decide to answer this task 2 question, again, the question is, financial education should be included as a mandatory subject in schools to prepare students for managing money effectively. To what extent do you agree or disagree? You can always write this essay even after the class and then send it to me for a free band score estimate. And myself or one of my colleagues will look at your essay and send you back a quick little evaluation blurb about what's going on. Okay, so just send it to adrian@aehelp.com or admin@aehelp.com. Okay, thanks, Jen, for putting the emails in there. Okay, all right. So now that we have the explanation for the first point, we need the example. Okay. So I'm just going to go EX here for the example. So what do I mean? Okay, well, what would be an example of a bad decision coming out of high school that could lead to a financial problem? Okay, so an illiterate, a financially illiterate. Illiterate means they don't have knowledge. Okay, financial literacy means you have knowledge, you have understanding. Financial illiteracy means that the person doesn't have knowledge. So a financially illiterate adolescent may pick up a credit card and buy an expensive computer without realizing the dangers. However, by teaching students in government schools, this same teenager may instead earn money and invest it into blue chip stocks. Okay, this is one of 2 reasons. This is my connective sentence. Connecting sentences, especially for the IELTS, do not need to be overly challenging or difficult. So notice this connecting sentence is going to be really simple. So this is one of 2 reasons I support the idea of teaching about money in schools. Okay, or this is one of 2 reasons I support the idea of money management being a part of curricula. To use the term, curricula is like the school system or teaching materials. Chen, you're the one that used that word curriculum, and I think that's a great word to think about here when talking about education systems, right? Now, at home and in the IELTS as well, depending on how fast you are with your writing, it's a good idea to review your body paragraphs, right? So teaching about the effective use of money gives a better chance for young adults to make money work for them instead of against them. This means that by learning the dangers of borrowing with high interests and understanding the value of making sound investments, an 18-year-old fresh out of high school can use their earnings to make money rather than lose money in the long run. A financially illiterate adolescent may pick up a credit card and buy an expensive computer without realizing the dangers of 20% compounding interest. However, by teaching students in government schools, by teaching students about money in government schools, this same teenager may instead earn money and invest it into blue chip stocks. This is one of two reasons I support the idea of money management being a part of curricula. Standard. That's why we review, to make our writing better, of standard curricula. And so there I have my introduction and body paragraph 1. Okay. All right. Anahita, I see that you are also writing the essay, which is fantastic. So Anahita has this sentence for us. Anahita writes, a lot of college pupils are struggling with financial constraints because they have not learned this literacy from an early age. Teaching money management in schools is the utmost method to tackle, and I have a feeling the rest of it is coming, Anahita, and it's looking good. Anahita, is this your topic sentence or sentences? It looks like it. Okay. So I see it's coming here. So Anahita writes, to tackle this issue, for example, a 22 years old, okay, going in the right direction. All right. Now, everybody, body paragraph 2 is basically the same concept as body paragraph 1, meaning it's the same structure, of course, with different ideas. So my second point here is benefit and safeguard. Let's go italic there. Benefit and safeguard society's well-being. Okay, so here, not just the individual, but also the society as a whole. All right, so let's get into body 2. When most people in a society learn about using money smartly throughout middle and high school, the overall economic well-being or stability, because you want to avoid using the same term in your topic sentence as what you used in the thesis point. Everybody got that? So that's why I took out well-being, because I used well-being in the thesis. I don't want to repeat that. So the topic sentence of the body paragraph should always be a little bit of a deeper explanation of the thesis point. Okay? So when most people in a society learn about using money smartly through middle and high school, the overall economic stability and prosperity, so not just stability, but and prosperity of that society is ensured. Okay? It's like it's guaranteed, right? You have a society full of people who know how to use money. Of course, they're going to create a much more stable society, right? Some societies overspend. Some societies oversave. very few societies actually use money wisely all around. So don't just save money, but also invest money and use money smartly, right? And I know it's a much more complicated issue, but it's the IELTS, so just keep it simple, keep it focused. All right. So what does this mean, right? So this means, and now I already said this means up here, I think. This means. So I don't want to repeat. Every time I feel like I'm repeating myself, I want to think about different ways to say that. So in this case, instead of this means, I would just say indeed. When the majority of a nation, why nation? Because education systems are generally governed by an education ministry that's at the government level, right? So indeed, when the majority of a nation is educated to make wise financial decisions, then recession can be avoided and the economy can be stimulated. For example, rather than over borrowing for expensive real estate, as in the subprime mortgage crisis of the US in 2008, the members of society make investments into large companies like Google and Amazon to spur growth and development. Okay. And now I'm not going to have a connecting or concluding sentence here. Why? Because I have the conclusion coming, and the conclusion concludes the essay, so it doesn't need to be concluded or connected. The next paragraph is going to do just that. I don't need to overwrite and conclude this one. That's the one way that body paragraph 2 is different from body paragraph 1. You don't need a connecting sentence, okay? All right, so body paragraph 2, when most people in a society learn about using money smartly throughout middle and high school, the overall economic stability and prosperity of that society is ensured. Indeed, when the majority of a nation is educated to make wise financial decisions, then recession can be avoided and the economy can be stimulated. For example, rather than overborrowing for expensive real estate, as in the subprime mortgage crisis of the US in 2008, the members of society make investments into large companies like Google and Amazon to spur growth and development, and of course, gaining value on their investment and earning money in the long run, right? Rather than going into debt. Okay. All right, now comes the conclusion. Let's see who else has written some sentences. Anahita says, a lot of college pupils are struggling with financial constraints because they have not learned this literacy from an early age. Teaching money management in schools is the utmost method to tackle this issue. For example, a 22 years old high school graduate is eager to use their credit card effectively. They can only do this if they have acquired knowledge from high school. Nevertheless, this is not the most important rationale, and I am totally in favor of this statement. Don't discredit your argument, Anahita. So when you write not the most important rationale, I would not write that. Okay, this is one point that supports your argument. Don't weaken that point, even if you have a stronger argument. Instead of saying this is not the most important, use furthermore or an even more critical reason. Don't discredit what you've written. Okay, I hope, does that make sense, Anahita? So never weaken any point of your argument, even if it's not your strongest point. Make sense? Okay. All right, conclusion, everybody. The conclusion has your points restated. Okay, argument strengthened. And a take-home message. Argument strengthened. Okay, so that's all it has. So my points here are that mandatory financial education helps the individual and helps society. In the IELTS, they like to see the leading expression in conclusion. So use it. In university, professors do not like to see the term in conclusion usually, so don't use it in university. Okay, or college, well, college maybe, but definitely not university. Okay, Anahita, I see that thumbs up, fantastic. So in conclusion, having money management as part of school curriculum not only helps each pupil, but also benefits communities. Okay, just kind of paraphrasing society and countries. Communities. Benefits communities. Indeed, making smart choices, smart budgeting decisions after graduations or upon independence So indeed, making smart budgeting decisions after high school graduation can lead to a happy and prosperous life for the person and for the nation. And then the take-home message, right? So what do we learn about this? What do we get out of this? So what's the take-home message? The sooner financial education becomes a part of regular class lessons, the sooner humanity can near a utopic world. Okay? Utopian world. There's the correct word. Everybody know what that means? Utopian world? Utopian world? Utopia? So the sooner financial education becomes a part of regular class lessons, the sooner humanity can near a utopian world. Utopia means like the perfect happy place. It's like heaven on earth, right? Utopia. A perfectly happy place. That's what utopia means. Chen says a world where everything is perfect. Yes, Chen, exactly. Anahita is asking, I don't need to include the topic in each topic sentence, right? No, you don't. You just have to give a deep definition of your thesis point. It doesn't have to have the topic in it necessarily, okay? There are lots of different ways to write this essay. Okay, everybody, so there is the complete essay with introduction, body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, and the conclusion. I will post the question and the essay later today in our YouTube community board on the YouTube channel. Good job, Anahita, for all the writing. Good job, Anna. Good job, Chen. Juan, maybe you're a little bit occupied at the moment, but I'm thankful that you were able to join the class. Hopefully you were able to keep a bit of an eye on what was going on there. And again, this was a question that came up December 4th. It is an important question, so make sure to practice your writing. Use the websites. Use aehelp.com for academic IELTS and gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. Those are our websites. As I showed you, they have all of these strategies, this content to help you improve your thinking and your writing for English. And in 30 minutes, I will have another class where subscribers will be able to join in on the chat as well. Subscribing to the YouTube channel is free. That will be a reading class. So we're going to be reading about a famous Peruvian drink, a popular drink in Central and South America called chicha. So join for that. It's going to be exciting and fun. Anahita, you're most welcome. Chen, thank you for posting the website again. Students, I'm Adrian. I'm signing out for now for 30 minutes. But again, I'm back in half an hour with a reading session, and you will hear the voices of our viewers. You will have a chance to read through the website, and we will go through the answers and strategies together. So join me for that. Bye for now, everybody.